Today we're going to tie the Black Death, a must-have tarpon fly. Although it isn't the fastest fly to tie, on my most recent trip to Mexico for tarpon, I got 2 hours of fishing and caught 1 tarpon and 1 barracuda before finally losing the fly on an overzealous hook set. So as long as you have a sturdy leader and good knots, it's well worth the time investment to tie this fly. To start, I'm going to use an Orvis 9034 hook in size 2. Attach some black 210 denier thread onto your hook before cutting off the extra. Make sure your thread is hanging right at the point of the hook. Then take 4 feathers from a black saddle. This doesn't have to be a high quality saddle. You can use an Indian or Chinese cock saddle, as long as the length of the feathers is appropriate for the hook size. Start off by taking 2 feathers of the same length. Remove them from the saddle and get their tips aligned. Tie these in on the side nearest to you with the dull side of the feather facing you, so that the feathers splay outward from the hook. Cut off the butts of the feathers and repeat that step on the other side of the hook. Again, make sure that the dull side of the feathers is facing out so the feathers splay outwards. And make sure you align the tips of the feathers with the 2 that you tied in first. Once you get those secure, cut off the extra butt ends of the feathers. The next step is to add some red or black crystal flash. I'm opting for red for a little bit of extra color on the fly. I take just 1 strand and tie it in on the side closest to me before bending it over the hook and tying it in on the other side. You want the flash to be almost as long as the tail, so give it a trim if needed. For the body of the fly, we're going to take either a black schlappen feather, or if you have enough webby material at the bottom of the feathers from your saddle, you can use that as well. Tie that in right at the beginning of the tail, and then bring your thread forward and wrap the feather around the hook until you run out of the webby material. Tie it off and cut off the extra. Repeat this step 1 or 2 more times up the hook. Remember, you want to leave enough room between the feathers and the eye of the hook so that you can build up the nose of the fly using your black thread. While I wrap those feathers, why not hit the subscribe button so you never miss an update. After you wrap enough black schlappen, you're going to tie in some red marabou on top of the fly and then on both sides and the bottom. Once you've tied in the red marabou around the shank of the hook, cut off all the extra and build up a nice black thread base up towards the eye of the hook. Next, get your whip finish tool and do 3 or 4 whip finishes before cutting off the thread. Now if there's any red feathers sticking through the black thread, you can take a black Sharpie marker and color in the red before sealing it off. The last step is to use some head cement or some UV resin like I'm using here to add some longevity and durability to our fly. Because as you know, tarpon and other pests like barracuda are not very easy on these time-consuming flies. Zap the resin with your UV light, and there you have it, the Black Death.